Hello, my dear mystic souls. This is Vitsy Vij, and welcome back to my channel. Now, for all my psychics and tarot readers out there, have you been seeing this card of Hierophant a lot lately in your readings? Do you know what this card stands for? Does this card indicate that you are going to meet a teacher soon or enroll at an university? Do you think this card stands for a committed relationship and a very traditional relationship? What do the various elements of this card indicate? And when it is in combination with other cards, what does it mean? Stay tuned, as in today's video, we will look into each and every aspect of this card of Hierophant. So let's begin. Did you notice the similarities between the card of Hierophant and that of the High Priestess? You can see that both of them stands between two pillars. However, while High Priestess stands for intuitive, secretive knowledge, or rather a more independent route to spirituality, the Hierophant stands for a very conventional, authoritative, conformative to certain aspects kind of spiritual journey. The two pillars that the Hierophant stands in between are called the pillars of mercy and the pillar of severity. So you can imagine like you have been to a school and you make some sort of mistakes while you are learning a subject. While the teacher have to be merciful towards you, the teacher is also strict that you make sure that you learn everything, and just because of a fear of getting punished, you do not resort to any kind of wrong practices. When you look at the hand of the Hierophant, you see that he has got two fingers pointing upward while two are pointing down towards the earth. This shows a connection to both the higher and the lower realms. It is to be understood like a bridge between the heaven and the earth. In the card of the Hierophant, it is often observed that it has some keys. So, whenever you see this card, you should think of it as like a figure who has got the keys to heaven. The card of the Hierophant also has the number 5 in it. So, as we already know so far, if you have been watching my videos, even in the last video that I made this week, I mentioned that the number 5 is associated with that of change. Number 5 also is associated with that of conflict, but when you are, like, say, for instance, in a conflict situation, and you draw the card of Hierophant, it means there is something which is going to change in the situation. Or perhaps if there is a lot of harmony in your life, but you also kind of feel bored about it, even then the card of Hierophant might indicate that there are things which are going to be changed. Okay? Especially if it is in combination with the card of the Tower. Also, depending upon your question and your current relationship status in your life, it might indicate a change of relationship dynamics between you and your significant other, or your colleagues whom you work with, or perhaps your parents, or even your siblings. Now, Hierophant also stands for open knowledge, but you can get that open knowledge only if you are a part of an institution like school or college. So, whenever you draw the card of Hierophant, the question is, does it always indicate that I should be enrolling myself into an institution, a school, or college? Well, depending on your question, it doesn't always have to be likewise. But if your question is specifically about getting higher education or simply broadening your knowledge base, then the answer is yes, the Hierophant is highly encouraging you to do so. But mind you, here in this case, there may be a lot of people who want to learn a particular subject, but for them it is not possible to get enrolled in a specific institute like a school or college to learn whatever subject they want to learn. It may be because, let's say, you want to learn guitar, but there isn't any kind of guitar instructors within 20 kilometers radius of where you live in. And the ones who are available in your place is very far away. So, what do you do in that case? You can even learn online. But mind this, Hierophant is a very traditional card. So, whenever we speak of learning online, there is an observed tendency among people that they just jump from one MOOC to other, one YouTube channel to another, and this is not just what Hierophant stands for. If you are committed to learning, then out of the many guitar players on YouTube who are offering tutorials on how to learn the guitar, you will have to pick one and stick with them. And also you will have to put in place some sort of self regulated discipline, like say for instance every evening at 5 p.m. you are dedicating yourself to learning guitar from that one particular person you have chosen to be your mentor on the YouTube, and you are committing 1 hour daily to your practice. So if you're doing all of these things, then that's great. You can even be learning your lessons online. So, yes, in a way, if you're asking about should I be educating myself or enrolling myself to learning either at an institute or online, then the card of Hierophant definitely says yes, go for it. Especially if the card of Hierophant is alongside the card of Empress, then it does definitely mean that you are supposed to increase your knowledge base at this point of time. Let's say you are into some sort of creative field, then the combination of these two cards more often indicates that they are asking you to broaden your knowledge base so that you can better serve your clients. Maybe your designs are great, but at this point you need to learn what are the new trends and then imbibe them with your traditional style of doing something. Let's say, for example, you are an artist who is making some sort of artwork, but you are more of someone who loves to bring out the traditional designs into life, okay? And somehow your clients have been loving your art, but at present, for some reason, you feel that you need to do something new because Hierophant also means change. And because of that, you have been reading your tarot cards and you pick up the card of Hierophant, but alongside you see the Empress. Then it means that while your clients do love the traditional designs and style, but they can be something new that you can incorporate it, which is in the trend but can also be linked to the tradition. Okay, so that's what Hierophant will mean in that case. Speaking about education, a very common question that arises is should we go for a research career, especially if we have Hierophant in our reading? Well, the answer can be yes, depending upon your life situation. In this particular case, if you draw Hierophant along with the Hermit card, then that's like a huge yes if you are willing to pursue a research career. Now, here research doesn't have to pertain to just PhD. There can be research on various aspects. It is not really restricted to that alone, but if you're planning to go for a PhD, then chances are that you'd be very successful. Also, if you draw Hierophant along with Hermit, it can mean that most of your learning journey will have to be done on your own. Okay, it's like you cannot either share your learning journey with others because then you would unnecessarily face a lot of conflicts because people working with you or around you are not very appreciative of your effort, or there are a lot of people who might replicate your work and may not wish you that well. Or it can simply mean that the work that you have chosen requires you to work in solitude if you have to get the best results out of your work. One very common question again is should we go abroad to pursue our studies? And you draw the card of Hierophant. Well, it may mean that you can go abroad to pursue your studies, but particularly if you draw the card of the Chariot along with Hierophant, well, then that is like a huge green signal that, yeah, if you do go abroad and bring this change into your current status, a change of your residence from your home country to a brand new country, it would bring you great results. But this is just about these two cards. The results would definitely depend upon its placement and also on the other cards of your reading. So, the card of Hierophant does support your intellectual ventures, and if you are planning to gain knowledge, any kind of activities as such, it will be supported. But make sure that whatever you do it with purity of thought. Okay, there is a true passion and desire for knowledge. If you are planning on some sort of shortcuts, well, then the Hierophant would be an equally severe and strict teacher for you. And then the way it would deal with you may not be that great. And we do not want to invoke any kind of negativities in our life unnecessarily. So always make sure that whatever you want to learn, you put in honest, dedicated efforts towards it. In the card of Hierophant, you see that he is holding on to a staff which has three signs, which is called the sign of the Holy Trinity. So, if you are asking a question like, what is my life purpose? Which is again a very common question in tarot, or guide me about my life purpose, or am I going towards my life purpose? And you draw up the card of Hierophant, then it is quite likely that indeed, yes, you are either in the path of your life purpose or the divine will be guiding you towards your life purpose. Now, let's say currently you are doing something. Suppose you own your own business and you want to know if it is indeed your life purpose to be pursuing this particular business, and you draw the card of Hierophant. And alongside, either in the bottom of the deck or alongside in your spread, you also have the card of Star. Then it is like a huge green signal saying that yes, you are pursuing your life purpose and you are doing so by the divine wish. Or else, even if you do not draw the card of Star, still you should know that you are either on the path or you would be guided towards that path of yours by the divine Trinity. The element associated with the card of Hierophant is that of Earth, and its sign is Taurus. Now, Taurus is a sign which has close association with the planet of Venus, so Venus is the ruling planet of Taurus. Now, Venus represents both luxury on one end and also financial knowledge on the other end, and alongside it also denotes devotion and attempts to learn something, master something, but in secrecy. So, these are the quality traits which are also associated with the card of Hierophant. Here, though, the luxury aspect is not so much in it, but finances, yes. But how is it? Let's find out. Suppose you are the eldest son of the family, and that is the reason why you are automatically succeeding your father in the family business. So that gives you a lot of wealth, which is associated with Venus. Okay, yet you can see that here a tradition has been followed into you getting wealth right after your father. Particularly if it is in combination with the Six of Pentacles or the Ten of Pentacles, then it is quite evident that you would be receiving wealth which would be given to you as inheritance. Okay, so these kind of traditional wealth acquirement is indicated by the card of Hierophant. That apart, you can also inherit your family land, but there are certain customs to be followed. I will take this example from Indian society that you are inheriting a land which also has a temple of the Kuldevi or Kuldevita, whom you have to continue worshipping. So that way you are acquiring wealth provided that you are agreeing to conform to certain sort of standards in your life. Venus is also a planet which is associated with marital bliss. So it may be that the Hierophant is indicating that very soon you would be entering into a marital alliance that is going to bring you a lot of wealth. I do not necessarily indicate that you are going to receive a lot of dowry here, or I would definitely not say that because you drew the card of Hierophant, you should go and ask for dowry from someone else. I think so that dowry is a huge crime, a very big social crime which is committed, and every effort should be taken to stop it. But what really I mean here is that let's say you got married into a very wealthy family, and because of your husband's wealth, you automatically became wealthy. Or let's say because your wife brought in a lot of gifts along with her, which was definitely not asked by you, it is she herself who brought it. Or let's just say that after marriage, your charts and its alignment just suddenly got so better that everything that you started doing started to be successful. So, all of these are influenced by Hierophant, and especially if you're having any kind of wealth related card with it, it indicates that you're going to receive huge wealth through some aspect related to Venus. But it doesn't necessarily mean that you need to go after luxury. It doesn't encourage you to go and pursue all those things. Like, to give you a very negative example here, is like you drew the card of Hierophant and you were like, I'm sure that it is about inheritance and I should be the one receiving inheritance. And for that, I want to eliminate anybody who is there in competition with me. Trust me, this would only bring you negative karma because of your thought, and if at all you decide to put that thought into action, it's going to be disastrous for your life. The planet Venus is closely associated with goddess Lakshmi, and Lakshmi doesn't reside in places which are impure, including an impure heart. So make sure that you never ever resort to any kind of ugly actions as that. Okay? Whatever is yours, whatever you truly deserve, trust in the universe and the divine that you would be given that, or at least guided in the direction so that you can get that. Now that we spoke of marriage, oftentimes a question comes up that does Hierophant mean traditional marriage? And if it comes up, does it mean that I am going to have an arranged marriage? The answer is yes and no. So let's say you are somebody who is interested in having a traditional arranged marriage and you drop the card of Hierophant, well, then you may have a very traditional arranged marriage. But let's say you love somebody and you want to have a love marriage, then the Hierophant is not saying here that no, you will not be having a love marriage. It is simply saying here that even though you are in love with somebody, you do not have to elope with your partner. Rather, your family would be very accepting of your relationship and you will have a very traditional sort of a marriage. So that's a good news for you, isn't it? And particularly if you have drawn the card of lovers along with Hierophant, it gives a lot of indication, probabilities rather, towards the fact that you may have a lover with whom you will get married following all of your traditional family customs. So be ready to follow a lot of ceremonies and be prepared to enjoy in them as well. Now, speaking about career choices, whenever you draw Hierophant, some people do have a question that does it mean it is advising me to continue with my job and not pursue business activities? The answer is no. But what does it really mean then? Well, if you want to start an entrepreneurial activity by completely quitting your job and whatever business you want to start is just an idea in your head and you haven't done any groundwork or implemented anything about it, then the Hierophant says that it is not a good time to quit your job right now. Well, this would also depend upon like other cards in your spread, but still, if you have just drawn the card of Hierophant, there is a high chance it is advising you to hold on to your job and continue building up on your business, and to leave your business only once it gets really profitable and you're very comfortable that even if you quitted your job, you'd be doing well even by running your business. Also, it can mean that if you're planning on something which is extremely unusual or entirely new, situation may not be right for you to implement that unusual idea of yours right now. Or let's say if you are in a business and you're planning to venture out into new territories and expand certain lines of your product or services into new categories or new market and stuff like that, then this may not be a very ideal time for you to do so. Perhaps even if you are thinking that you have a projected profit report in that particular area, things may not turn out to be in your favor and you may have to incur unnecessary losses. When it comes to health and you draw the card of Hierophant upright, it means it is advising you to stick to conventional ways of healing. If there are any medications or any kind of bed rest prescribed to you, then please do take them. If you are thinking of any kind of alternate healing, like chakra healing or pranic healing or healing through music or meditation or simply trying out yoga, well, while they may benefit you, but they may not be entirely able to cure you out of your current health situation in this particular case. Now, if you have drawn the card in reverse side, then it is advising you that while you have tried everything traditionally, it's time for you to test the waters on the other side. That is, try alternate healing, of course. This apart, when you draw the card of Hierophant in the reverse side, then it means that you are forced into some sort of commitments. Let's say your family is pressurizing you to get married to a particular someone, but you have someone else in your mind, or let's say you just don't want to be married. Or let's say that it is your family tradition to follow a certain profession, but you want to choose something entirely different, and you feel that you are being forced to commit to a particular career path. So, all of these things are indicated by the card of Hierophant in reverse. Now, whether you should stick to this forceful commitment, like is it good for you or will it be good for you eventually in the long run or not, in order to know all of these, you can consult your astrological chart, or let's say it would also be revealed through other cards in your reading, however you choose to do it. Now, if you want to uh, show your astrological chart and get a consultation, well, I do provide that. So you can definitely contact me, and the link is in the description box. Now, let's move forward with the card of Hierophant in the reverse side. Let's say, suppose your family is following certain set of traditions and you do not feel very comfortable about it, and you have taken a tarot card reading and the card of Hierophant comes on the reverse side. It is a clear indication that your family is following pretty much outdated traditions. An example would be like your family decides to break ties with anybody who has divorced their significant other because they think that it only brings shame to the family and nothing good ever comes out of it. While in reality, the person who has divorced their significant other realizes that the marriage was like a trap for them, which was keeping them confined in every possible way, and it was like a punishment for their life, for their soul, for their well being, and everything. So they rather set themselves free. Now, when I say this example, I do not say that I am advocating divorce. It is just to give you an example of how sometimes people have certain conceptions based upon certain cultures that they're holding on to for generations. Like once you're married to somebody, it is only your dead body which comes out of the house of that person. You never separate until you die. Okay. And if you do so, then it is going to bring severe consequences and it is going to bring shame for the family. While in reality, like if you consider living with somebody and you're not happy and that relationship is abusive, then well, indeed, your dead body is going to come out of it, but you're not going to do anybody any good by sticking onto it. While you chose life by leaving behind all of these setbacks and all of this abuse, which is a very bold step, but your family doesn't want to listen to you. So, all of these outdated traditions can be indicated by the card of Hierophant. Which also brings me to my next point, that let's say, even by divorcing your significant other in this case, what you did was the right thing. And you did not do it because you were married to somebody and you did not take your marriage seriously or stuff like that. You were very right in your case, like you fought against an abuse from your partner. But it may not be seen as a very good thing by your family, so you'd be punished by them by isolating you or breaking all ties from you, causing you a lot of emotional and moral trauma. While at that time, what you really needed was their support. So, all of these things can be indicated by the card of Hierophant. Now, this also indicates some sort of rebellion. So, here in this case, you would be observed as like a rebellious somebody by your family. All right. But mind you, like, okay, this example apart, whenever you are asking about someone else and you draw the card of Hierophant in reverse, it may mean that they have a very rebellious character. Like, they are somebody who always wants to challenge and question societal norms, who are always asking, like, why is it so, why that is that, why do we follow this culture, why do we have to conform, and stuff like that. Whether this rebellious nature of the person is good or bad, again, depends upon the other cards that you may have drawn in your reading. Now, at times when we are being too rebellious, we think that we are going to bring about a change. but we may think that the change is good, but sometimes it happens that that particular change is not so very good as we had perceived them to be. So, the card of Hierophant, based upon the other cards in your reading, can also indicate that you are being unnecessarily rebellious than you should be. It doesn't mean that you should dampen your spirits, but it simply means that it is trying to warn you that please don't do something because you think being rebellious is cool. Do something or bring about a change only if it must be brought about. Because shaking the status quo at times is not really that good as we think it to be. While I may not say that every single tradition in the world is very good and whatever is ancient is great and whatever is modern is like too bad. I mean, I would not have been even using internet and stuff like that if I would have been against the modern technology. But the point is that sometimes, in order to shake up the status quo, we unnecessarily bring about a lot of things of which we ourselves don't have a very sure shot idea. We simply do it because we are after a word which is called change, and we have no idea of the consequences of those changes. So, that may at times be very disastrous. So, the card of Hierophant is simply warning us against being that. Now, about the yes or no question associated with Hierophant, unfortunately, it has no clear yes or no. If it has some other cards associated with it, then maybe it indicates something. But if you draw it just individually, just the card of Hierophant, then it's a very neutral card. It doesn't say either a yes or a no. It simply states out a possible situation and circumstance, giving you some advice and some idea. Now, when you draw the card of Hierophant and it is, let's say, an upright situation, and you are asking if I should seek advice or guidance from somebody, the answer is yes, absolutely, because it is a clear indication that whatever information you have right now or whatever is your perception about a situation, you are in need of an expert counsel, an expert guidance on the subject matter. But if you draw this card in reverse, then in this case, it means that you are your own best guide. So learn to trust your intuition. And instead of listening to any kind of external counseling or stimuli given to you, just rely on what your intuition is telling you. Now, here, in terms of spiritual practices, if you draw the card of Hierophant and you have drawn it upright and you're asking about some sort of your spiritual journey and path, then the Hierophant here indicates that take subtle steps, read a lot of books, and go by the book. Okay. But if you draw the card in reverse, or let's say you draw it alongside the High Priestess, then here in this case, this card is indicating that it's time for you to go into more deeper intuition based practices or which involves a lot of secrecy alongside it. So, my dear mystic souls, that was a lot of information about the card of Hierophant, but you know that there is still a lot more about tarot. I will be back again with another video, but until then, do take care and stay tuned and subscribe to this channel. Plus, hit the notification bell so that you can be notified of new videos as and when they come up. I will see you in my next. Till then, take care. Bye bye.